Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Tonight it's a dark and dreary rainy evening in upstate New York. So the only thing I could think of was to break out the old mic and record some Dogman encounters for you guys. Real quick before we jump into those encounters, though, I'd like to share some quick links with you. My second channel's link is in the description. It's dedicated to creepypastas, fan fiction, and scary voice acting. Also, my merchandise link is in the description, and my PayPal link is in the description, which helps keep this channel commercial free. And with that, let's get on with the Dogman encounter, shall we? Our first Dogman encounter. On the evening I seen the hyena-like animal, I was small game hunting along a heavily wooded exploration trail that looked fruitful for rabbits. I generally hunt alone, but carry a shotgun because all too often during these often successful rabbit and grouse hunting journeys, black bears and occasional wolf packs are nearby, and a .22 rim fire is a poor caliber for self-protection here in northeastern Alberta. During my hunting walk along this one west to east goat path, I noticed a turkey vulture was always overhead, and if you watched your six, an owl always trailed me. This is very routine there. What was not, in my opinion, a routine thing was an unusual noise animal source never found. A constant coughing sound I describe best as like a cat coughing up a fur ball, but no change in pitch or volume or cadence. It sounded like a sound effect generated by a studio. Certainly, what animal has the lung capacity or vocal cords to generate this very strange sound? Tell you what, this is almost more worrying than the sighting itself. On this day, I just came to the decision to ignore this sound and continue hunting. This particular forest trail had two small rises along my direction of travel. To the east and over the second hump, small game were more frequently seen, I think because the main road was far enough away that small animals felt safer there, behind the second mound. Soon I heard what was larger than a rabbit just off to my right, and I was later than usual arriving there, and daylight was rapidly fading. Thankfully, this was at the intersection of the two trails, and I seated myself on a large rock on the opposite side of the trail and sat looking in its direction with my trusty shotgun across my lap. I felt very confident in my ability to protect myself, and I always keep two shotgun slugs, really handy to swap out birdshot in my over and under just in case I had a bear encounter at close range. I seen this dog-like animal as it came around a large tree. It had dog-like ears and dog-like snout, but its front legs were certainly longer than its back legs. Never seen this before or since. Also appeared to have a very muscular back and chest, almost like a humpback to me. Was this a wolf with a deformed broken back, or the now 10,000-year extinct American hyena? I don't know, and I've seen several wolves in the past and innumerable coyotes and fox, so I feel well qualified to speak about canine animals. Also, its incisor teeth looked unnaturally long, and I think it had a grayish coat with some strange yellowish or red patches on its back. Very hard to confirm in the dusky light. Its eyes had a strange yellowish color to them. I was unsure whether to shoot it or not, but decided to leave this area immediately. I know well enough not to run as to appear to be prey to a predator, but kept my loaded shotgun at the low ready just in case, stopping often to check my six just like an infantry soldier on patrol. I left and never actually returned to the spot. Another occasion, I heard the large animal getting up in the woods at least twice in totally different place again while small game hunting. I had the distinct feeling I was being watched. This was near a registered trap line I later discovered was easy to find an excuse not to return there. Some months later, I found 2 thoroughly mutilated calves and a cow someone really took their time with. Again, at a different location about 10 miles from here as the crow flies. The cow had a ear tag and I reported it to the RCMP. They tell me in later phone calls this incident was forwarded to the local livestock inspector. I must say, perhaps just rustled cattle butchered right there, but seems stupid as it is the corner of a very busy forest road. Maybe a mutilation, maybe not. I just hope these strange occurrences are it for me. I had my recent health scare and I don't need any more drama in my life. Our second Dogman encounter of the evening. This is something that happened to my husband and I a good 9 years ago. We had gone to watch a friend's band play and we're headed home from downtown Dallas. I don't live in the Metroplex anymore, so no personal info. It was around 1 a.m., but we still had plans before I was expected home. We were still dating. So we headed to his apartment in one of the South Dallas suburbs. This is a pretty well-populated suburb, but by the time we got close to his apartment, the roads were pretty much empty. We exited the highway and turned onto the street that led to his apartment, but as soon as we passed the traffic light under the highway, we both saw it plain as day. Stone sober and wide awake, we saw this mother effing werewolf type thing exit a neighborhood street and calmly run in about 4 steps across a 4-lane road. It was about 75 yards in front of us, but it wasn't exactly the way I imagined a werewolf. It was completely canine, no human features at all except for the fact that it was on 2 legs. The legs were massive and the thing was about 7 feet tall, but the arms reminded me of T-Rex arms. They were small and still hung like dog legs. They seemed very useless if the thing were to try to attack something. The head was also odd. Besides being a typical dog color, grayish-black, the eyes were bright glowing yellow, even when they weren't headlights shining in their directions. It didn't look like the glow of an animal gets when their eyes are in the light, but the thing that stood out most to me was the eyes were bioclear like a fish. I saw the eyes clearly even when he was completely profile to us. I'll never forget how fast this thing was either. The road we were driving on had heavy trees to the right-hand side of us. When it came out, it was running but crossed this road in a few steps. It was big enough and effortlessly fast enough to know that a human couldn't have dressed up and done this. There was an open field that he ran into. When my husband and I got to where the trees broke, we both turned our heads to look, but it was long gone by then, about 4 seconds. I think the only thing that was said was a quiet, "What the F?" by me. When it was running across the road, I didn't get the sense that it cared that we saw it or that it was even trying too hard to cross before we got closer. I didn't feel fear as if we were threatened, only disbelief, really. And again, it's not like we were in a rural area by any stretch of the imagination. When we passed the tree line, his apartment complex was literally another 150 yards or so up the road. We hurried in and didn't exactly get to our plans. We basically just sat there in silence, trying to rationalize, I guess. Still to this day, I often think to myself, really, did this really happen? But as soon as I close my eyes and think about it, those bright yellow eyes are still there.